Yes. Greetings. Yes, welcome to the fire. Now, I would just like to talk about friends and fake friends. Now, we have a lot of friends, and they say there are friends that will stick with us to the end. And we also have a friend in need is a friend indeed. And we also have a friend who says, no matter what, through thick and thin, I shall be your friend. Now, I remember coming back to, this is part 2 of the robbery, when I came back to my friends. And I always remember this really interesting friend that I had. He said to me, you know, Mr. Fire, I will always have your back. What a lovely thought, I thought. I remember it was in the city of London, and me being, you know, the international idiot that I am because of the robbery, I took the bait. I bought the product again of Fake Friend. You know, just like you have Facebook, but sometimes it's actually fake book, because some of the images we're presented is not real. Some of the images we're presented with, there's predators out there preying on young children, those pedophiles and all other things. So some of it is actually fake book. You know, some people are sitting in a hut in certain countries in Africa, you know, presenting themselves in such a positive light, you know, taking people's profiles and putting beautiful pictures, you know, and people fall for it. I remember one particular English lady, you know, she met this lovely soldiers online from a dating site, and she was so captivated by the soldier and his wonderfulness, you know, and at the time now, she was a lonely, extremely lonely widow, you know, suffering from depression, you know. So she thought, oh, you know, the light has finally come, love has finally come into her life. So she decided, you know, to have relationship with this man on the internet through just conversation. So at one time he suggested to her that he was ill and he needed money, and of course she, being in love, you know, took the money and gave it to him. And when she eventually found out, she was over £100,000 down, and he was still, you know, like a vampire, sucking all her financial resources out of her. Eventually, she had a little breakdown, contacted the local authority, the police got involved, and one of these watchdog programs got involved, and eventually they found that it was a guy in Africa, in, you know, in Nigeria, in a little internet hut, was doing the robbery. Now, in my case, which is a very interesting case, I was in London, and I'll never forget it. We went to Leicester Square, around a place around near the Hippodrome, around that side, and I had some money, and, you know, my friend who was with me, you know, said, Ike, you're the greatest, you're my friend, I will stick with you to the end. And I thought, what's so lovely? But at the same time, I was buying the weed, I was buying all the drinks, you know, I paid for all the food, and, you know, and it was such a lovely evening. I remember the champagne was nearly £300 for the bottle, you know, but at the same time, it's because I was just a poor man trying to pretend to be rich, trying to impress my fake friends, well, my so-called friends at the time, you know. And so I remember sitting in the hippie-drome and, you know, people drinking, and I looked at the one bottle of champagne, it was £300, and I watched every little sip drink. It's like my life was going down. The way the champagne, one bottle of champagne cost me £300 as a poor man. Do you know how devastating that is? My children needed new shoes, you know, my rent wasn't being paid, you know, but I was in the city living it large, so to speak, with my so-called friends. Now the reason I'm touching on this subject is beware of fake friends. So we drank the champagne, everybody had a good time, you know, we bonded, we were like blood brothers, you see the word here, blood fire, so we were like blood brothers. And so a situation happened a few years after that where, you know, me and my first wife broke up. So I thought, yeah, I remember my friend, you know, he said, yeah, he would stick with me, you know, and everything, you know, so I didn't have nowhere to go because obviously I was chucked out on the street, and, you know, and it wasn't convenient for me really to go back to where, you know, my wife, my ex-wife, I should say, was, because, you know, I didn't want to cause any arms house, any distressing, and it could have kicked off and violence, and I didn't want the police come and stamp in my face, and next minute I've woke up in Brixton prison or Belmarsh prison, you know, or in America they will call it San Quentin, you know, or somewhere like that. Or in Jamaica I might end up in Bellevue, you know, so I didn't want that to happen to me, so I've decided I'll go and see my good friend who I spent my money on and who was devoted to me. So anyway, I got to the house and, you know, went inside and sat down, and I was feeling very stressed out, and, you know, so we had a few little drinks, you know, and so I was thinking, yeah, you know, if things are good, I can stay with him for a few days, and after that then, you know, I can just go back to maybe get a little room, go to a hostel, go and see the local authorities and so forth, you know. And things will be wonderful because I've got the backing of my friend who said he will stick with me through thick and thin to the bitter end. So about 10 o'clock now, he says to me, ain't you going? I said, going? I have nowhere to go, you know. I'm homeless at the moment. He goes, well, you can't stay here. I said, yeah. He said, no, you can't stay here, mate. You just can't do it. It's just not on. You can't stay here. It's 10 o'clock. I got to get to work. I got to go. You got to go, mate. Wow. Wake up call. I couldn't believe my ears. I says, wasn't this the man who says we were friends to the end? I was spending my money on him. I've always supported him. And I said, you can't stay here, like, you know, can't stay here. If you do that, I'll even call the police on you. Wow. So, with the little black bag I had, you know, I just took the black bag and tears started dripping down my face, and I went to the local park bench to sleep on the park bench. Had a little can of, you know, Tenant Super, 13% with me, you know, so that was my lodgings, you know, for the night. And, you know, this is a part of the the friendship that we've been presented with. No, I had another interesting situation where I had another friend who came to my house and he said to me, "Oh, Ike, you know, he wants us to get together," and he used this was the unification. Yes, I said, you know, that means to unite, to come together. And then he was so lovely, gave a lovely speech. He says, "United we stand, divided we fall." Then he says, this is the year of unification, of uniting the friendship. So obviously, again, I took the bait. So, you know, I went and started staying with him. And then an incident occurred where I relapsed back into my drinking. So it was brought out to me that I'm no longer welcome in the unification anymore. And also it was interesting, I was pursuing a lady that I was really interested in. And it's interesting how the person, you know, they contacted the person, I got in contact with the person, and they assassinated my character. They told the person, in the name of Jesus Christ, flee from this guy. In the name of Jesus Christ, leave this guy alone. This guy is no good. Remember, you know, this is the unification. This is the person who says, united we stand and divided we fall. Fire! Blood fire! You see, but the first opportunity the person got, they assassinated my character. You know, like you have Wesley Sniper, you have the assassins, yeah, the Dirty Dozen, and all these people who went out, you know, to assassinate the Day of the Jackal. And that's another powerful assassin, yeah. And so the person couldn't wait to just assassinate the character, to drag I'm going to use a very delightful word, to besmirch my lovely name. So the reason I'm touching on this, we have to be aware of people who say that they are friends. And we have the friends that they call fair weather friends. These are the friends that only want us when things are going well. I remember previously, you know, years ago, I had a girlfriend, and for confidentiality reasons, we'll call her Miss M. So Miss M was my fair weather friend, and she said to me again, you know, you're so lovely, you're my man, I love you, you know, you're so wonderful. And, you know, so with Miss N, you know, when I got paid, I would take her to the local Harrods store and spend money on her, and she always rub my head and made me feel very, very good, you know. It reminds me like a lamb coming to the slaughterhouse, you know. So she really did a number on me, you know. She rubbed my head and she always told me, "Oh, you're so kind." But the interesting thing about Miss M is I got paid every month. So I only saw Miss M on payday. But at the time, I didn't know about it, you know. So my brother, bless him, he's passed away. Pops pointed out to me, he said to me, "Fire." He said to me, "Don't you know that you're being conned?" And I was ready to fight my brother, you know. Because when it comes to the passion, affairs of the heart, with the opposite sex woman, a man will beat a man down, you know, for the woman. Yeah? So I was ready to fight him. I said, "Don't you talk about her like that. Don't talk about Miss M like that, you know. I was going to be trouble in the blood. Trouble. Trouble. Fire with fire, you know. Blood. Fire. Fire." So my brother politely told me that Well, if you can't hear, you will feel. You will learn the hard way. So every time payday came, I would go and visit Miss M, and I would buy lots of shopping, you know, put the shopping down, and, you know, everything was rosy, you know. Went out and she liked the brandy, so I bought some brandy, you know, and she liked going stepping out the local dance, so we used to step down and, you know, get down on it. How do you do it if you really don't want to dance like Sandy, you know, on the floor? Get it back up off the wall. Heard people say, get down on it, and, you know, and I was funking out and enjoying myself and bought the shopping. She liked, you know, her weed and a little bit of ash. And so I bought that as well, you know. And so after everything, you know, she said, you know, I can stay in the house with her, and everything was wonderful. And, you know, so the next morning I woke up and she goes to me, Fire, I need my space. I said, space? She said, yes, I need my space because, you know, I just want you to go. I don't want you here because I need my space. So I says, okay. So I thought it was a joke, you know, because I've spent my money. We've decided, you know, we love each other. We're going to be together through thick and thin for all eternity. So, you know, it's obviously we're living together, and I've spent all my money. I haven't got any money left. I've only got enough money to get to and from work from her place because I thought that was the arrangement. Next minute, I look, policeman come, police come, hold me down, get out of this place. I said, yeah, but, you know, I helped decorate the house, you know, and the police politely pointed out and said to me, is your name on the tenancy agreement? I said, no. They said, well, if you come within a certain meters or miles or kilometers or so forth, you'll be arrested. There's an injunction out against you. You see how it is? Remember? Friends who will stick with me until the end. But this one is the fair weather friend. So I just couldn't believe it. I said, well, officer, you know, obviously I spent my money. He says, well, you're the fool, ain't you? So I remember coming back what my brother said to me about this particular Miss M. Just beware, you know, of fake friends. And that kept happening every month. Every month, you know, just before the month, you know, a few days before payday, I would get a lovely call. Hello, darling, how are you? I really, really miss you. You know, I missed you, and I'm sorry for my behavior, but it was your fault, you know. It was you. You're the one who pushed me to do all these things. It was your fault, Fire. You're the one who was the evil one. You're the one who was the bad one. You're the bad one, and it was your fault. That's why I had to call the police on you and all these things. But anyway, I apologize. Come and visit me. You got it. What do I do again? I step back into the fire. What did the British man says? Out of the frying pan and into the fire. So I step back in again, bought all the shopping again, you know, take her to the nightclub again, get down on it. How do you do it if you really don't want to dance? Like guys in, get it back to Baltimore. Everything say, get down on it. Boom. Next day again, Fire, you know, I need my space, and I've been thinking really that, you know, after I spent all my money and everything again, remember I'm going through like nearly £1,000 every month, you know, and I'm really thinking, Fire, and remember I'm decorating again, I'm fixing up the garden, you know, I'm doing loads of things, you know, to support this Miss M, and she just politely told me, I need my space, and I don't think that you're the right person for me, and you know, I'm thinking of seeing Joe Grime. Well, to educate people who don't know who Joe Grime is a term that we use in Jamaica, and Joe Grime means simply that a man who gets the benefit of all your hard labor. So you put everything down and Joe Grind comes in and gets all the benefits of it. So what Joe Grind does, he's a very simple man. Usually a typical Joe Grind is not employed, you know, he's unemployable. Maybe a little drug dealer can, you know, but he's very good in the bedroom bully scene, in the bedroom action scene. So Joe Grind always gets the ladies, you know. It's a bit like 007, James Bond. He's a professional Joe Grind, yeah. So Joe Grind would come in, and whatever a man has labored for, you know, Joe Grind will get all the benefits. While the man's at work, working hard, you know, Joe Grind is just jumping through the back door, you know, visiting the lady, you know, and getting all the benefits of that man's labor. And before the man comes home from work, then Joe Grind would just quickly disappear. And, you know, he would show up at the lady's discretion, at Miss N discretion, I would say. So Joe Grind was getting all the benefits of all my hard labor. So she said, you know, she's interested in Joe Grind, and, you know, and I must go. Again, I couldn't take all that in because I've spent my money again. Again, boom, the police come. This time things started to get more serious because they said, Mr. Sims, you know, you're a good man, you know, so we're going to have to take you down to the police station to caution you officially. So now the penny's starting to drop. So I started to look into the Bible now, and the Bible started to tell me that 1 Corinthians 15:33, it says, do not be misled. Bad association spoils useful habits. And then I started to read things like, beware of the foreign woman. Her lips are like honeycomb, but afterwards it is as bitter as wormwood. It is sharp as a two-edged sword. Then I started to look into the scripture in Micah, just generally about friends. It said, the best friend, Micah chapter 4 verse 7 or 5 verse 7, you know, it says, their best friend is like a briar. It's worse than a thorn hedge. So that means that a thorn hedge is a thing that prickles you, that when you go near it, it stings you, it bites you. And, you know, it can hurt you, it can really harm you. When you look at all those prickly trees with the thorn hedges, you know, it's got the horns sticking out, the thorns sticking out. And if it goes in you, sometimes when you walk through a thing called kukumaka or the thorn hedge, you come up with lots of bruises, lots of scrapes. You can even bleed to death because of the thorn hedge. So basically, and they have another one, they call it poison ivy. So if that thing gets inside your bloodstream, it can actually poison you. So what the Bible was warning me, that your friend could kill you. Wow! Wake up call. So I started to detach myself a bit more and to realize that as a part of the robbery now, we have people in our life who says that they love us, whether it's family members, whether it's friends we meet, whether it's in relationship, could be a husband, it could be your wife, you know, it could be your daughter, it could be your son. But we have these people who say they love us, but as soon as they get the opportunity, they will stab you in the back and kill you. Wow! That is the truth about friendship. So beware of the ones who say that they